y'all, and welcome back to another video by UmbrasDarkness. In today's video, you guys, we got something of a little bit different of a unique flavor. We're going to do a Q&A. I tried to gather as many questions as possible. If I missed your question, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to miss your question. You know, one person, I can only catch so much. If I missed your question, feel free to ask it during the live. The only questions that I will not answer is the special ant questions. Those are in my Discord. They're in the live, and I'm sure I'm going to go over them in the next live. And I might make another video, but it's a pretty well-covered subject by now. And then what area to choose. I'm going to keep my choices to myself until the live tomorrow. I want to talk through them a little bit more engagingly with chat, so that way I can talk through how I feel, hear what they say, and beyond that. That live is going to be tomorrow. About an hour before reset, so 2300 UTC, and it's going to be with Stan, much smarter, much nicer person than me. You should go check him out on YouTube as well. Stan, and I will be hosting a live for about 4 hours tomorrow, going over all of the things that we know, any like theory crafting that we have, and different opinions. It'll really be a chat-driven live Q&A. Without any further ado, let's get into the questions. Alright, so the very first question that I get asked all the time is Warzone construction and class features. I didn't record anyone's names with who asked what question. Sorry about that, but I assume multiple people have the same question, and I didn't want to upset anyone by saying the wrong name that I saw first. So, Warzone construction. As you can see, you go against everyone in the same server, right? Even if they're not in your alliance, it's everyone in that server. There's limited spots, 10 slots, just like normal. You have the Warzone construction, i.e. it's the exact same. The only change is that during the Lost Island season, marching speed to Warzone construction will be 300% of the normal one, and the max marching time will be 30 minutes. This is really nice because the map is super big, and depending on where you are, it could be really bad to have to move back to the Warzone construction, right? So that's a really nice feature. As for class features, they all work, but they work for their purpose. It's not changed for Lost Island, meaning that you don't gather troops faster because you're a cultivator. And we're not sure because PvP and season special ants season troops ants aren't unlocked yet. But Raider healing ability, we don't know if that'll impact season troop ants either. Alright, the next question that I got asked is there a fine line on how much you should focus our stamina on personal objectives compared to alliance objectives? That answer is yes. Oh my gosh, yes. So, first off, personal objectives. You have hornets that you need to do, and then hornets don't count as wild creatures, so you have wild creatures that you need to do in order to get your salary up to 500. So you need to get to 180 for clay, but if you're interested in Lost Island fruit in order to buy from the season store as a free-to-play player, you need to get to 260 and 500 activity points in order to get 500 fruit a day. So that's another factor on where your troops are going to go. But then if you look here, you have hunt level 20 wild creatures, hunt hornets, hunt lizards, and gathering. So free-to-play players will be stretched there. But then lairs as well, lairs and residences. Every time you hit a lair, every time you hit a residence, it takes 10 stamina. It's a lot. But you have first occupied rewards. You have number 1 damage and durability. You have having done any amount of durability. You have having killed any number of troops. Again, first alliance occupied rewards. So that's going to impact drastically where you use stamina. So you're not going to want to do all 20 insects at the same time. You're not going to want to go down to 0 stamina because you want to participate in lairs and residences. Hopefully your R5 is like telling you when you're going to do the next one, what time, so that way you can plan your stamina properly. And then you want to gather overnight in order to ensure that you get your Lost Island fruit, right? You want to be able to get your Lost Island fruit to buy stuff. As you can see, we're 3 days into the event, 2 days in an hour, right? 2 days and 4 minutes. And I already have enough Lost Island fruit to buy all 4 bioessence. I don't see struggling in like buying out the orange part of the store. But it's going to be a stamina, like, paying attention, right? The only thing so far that does not take stamina is aiding and building an alliance tower. So when an alliance tower is placed, you can assist in building, and that takes 0 stamina. That's the only thing. All right, the next question that I get asked was clarification on nodes, how they work, things like that. So nodes they stay forever, right? So I have all these nodes. If I teleport to a different location, I keep all of those nodes. They never run out of number of troops produced. They just constantly produce the same number of troops. So a level 4 node produces 7 per hour of that selected type. If we click on search, you'll see that meats can be one of the 3. It's not random. You have to find the right meat, right? So this meat is going to produce carriers, but this meat is going to produce shooters, right? So it's going to depend on which meat that you find that's going to produce it. Leafs all produce carriers. Wet soil all produces guardians. Shooters are in all sand. And diamonds is also random, right? So you can see here 1 diamond is carrier and this diamond is guardian. So that's how that works. Now gathering on gather day is actually easier here than it is in a regular server, because you keep this node forever, and then you can gather the same node multiple times. It's limited to how much you can gather at a time to 1.3 million, not including cultivator buff, locust buff, all that stuff. But you can gather 1.3 million, recall your troops, and then send it back to the same node. No stress, no issues. So gathering is not nearly as difficult. You don't have to fight to find that level 7, level 8 node. You just send it back to the same one that you already have. So that's really nice about gathering. And then my nodes, one of the comments noticed that I went from 20 to 22 to 24. So I apologize for not making this clear in my last video. But you start off with 20 nodes when you first show up. And then you gain nodes by event milestones, honor, and alliance influence. As you can see, it tracks, it shows how much alliance influence I have, therefore how many bonus nodes. It shows if I would have enough honor in order to gain nodes. You get a total of 200 nodes in the end. After that, you can't get any more. 75 here, 80 here, so that's 155. You start off with 20. So that's 175. And then if you go here and you go to season milestones, you get 2 here, you get 2 here, you get 3 here, 25 total for the number to gather, right? So that's how those numbers go up and how you gain more troops, which goes into that snowball effect that I talked about yesterday. All right, the next question I was asked was how much clay does 1 tower cost? How much stamina to attack lairs and residences? Lairs and residences cost 10 stamina to attack. It costs 10 to kill troops. It costs 10 to attack and destroy durability. It is what it is. It's really rough on stamina. However, in order to build the tower, if we click on territory and we click build, it takes 2,000 clay to build a tower. That value doesn't change. I had a misunderstanding of what the number on the right-hand side was. That's just how much clay I have in my reservoir. So I apologize if I gave the wrong answer before. It is 2,000 clay consistent no matter what tower level you're at. But if you fully build a tower, right? If someone fully builds a tower, so let's click on one of mine. And let's click on this tower. And if I click dismantle, it takes 15 minutes and all consumed resources will not be returned. So you only get 300 towers in order to make it across the map. You're clearly going to need more than 300 towers. and you get no clay back. So getting that stockpile, my first recording of this video, you would have seen that we were down under 6,000 clay, aka 3 towers, by the end of day yesterday. So it's going to be really rough on clay. Speaking of towers, there's a couple of do's and don'ts. So the very first do not is this tip to tip. While this seems really super efficient on gathering distance because 300 towers is maximum, an enemy can place their tower right here and then can just place their tower, your tip to tip, and sneak around you. Now, this might not be very important for where this tip to tip is, and that's going to be up to you to decide. I personally would never do it because the maximum you need is just something like this. So you sacrifice 1 tile, 2 tiles difference in order to ensure there's no tip to tip get around for a opposing alliance. The reason that you don't want to do that is you can like create a safe bubble, right? So if you imagine we have all these towers together and then we combine them right here, all the people in this area would be able to gather, would be able to do insects, whatever, and they'd be safe, right? It'd be a safe area on top of where all the towers are and everything. But if we do a tip to tip, an opposing team can just get in and attack all these players, no problem. So that would be where that issue would lie, right? And why I would always advise to just have that little bit of overlap like this and no tip to tip like this. This is very bad. The next question is about layers. Again, so layers take 10 stamina to hit. You have to hit every single solitary time in order to burn durability. So it's 10 stamina per hit, and each hit takes away a certain amount of durability, and no matter what, you have to hit it with 10 stamina, so it can use your stamina really quickly. This is why you want to coordinate people being online. If we have 10 or 20 people at the same time, it's easier and easier. For reference, a level 3 layer takes like 10 people, maybe. A level 4 layer takes maybe 20 people. A level 5 layer takes like 40, maybe 50, depending on the power of your team, right? So walk is pretty strong, right? We're a server 7, right? Center for Ants is a server 7 alliance, so we're relatively strong, relatively well evolved, right? That being said, residences and layers do give different buffs, which was the next question that I was asked, is what type of buffs do you get? Can you show them? So none of the buffs are the same, or they're not all the same, right? So this level 3 layer, if I click on instructions, it increases Mesoprona Elasa output 8 per hour and Shooter Ant health 3.2%. And it has 900,000 station troops in order to beat it that are tier 9. But if I go to this layer, this layer, level 3, and I click instruction, it's the same troop, right? I believe these are carriers, but it's Shooter Ant defense instead, so the buff there is different, right? So that was Shooter Ant defense, and then over here, it is Shooter Ant health. So, and then level 4, level 5, different. It increases output and it increases the stat. But if I look at like a level 5 layer, right? So if I look at this level 5 layer, I click instructions, it's still only 1 buff and 11 per hour. This one's for shooters and Guardian Ant defense, but it's only 1 and 1. If I look at like a residence, right? So this is a level 6 residence, but if I look at a residence, it's available sub areas to teleport, Pearl Island sub area 3. I don't fully know what this is, so if anyone has that answer. And then 14 per hour, carrying attack 14.5%. And then as you can see, it's 11,700,000 season special ants that are stationed, and you can just see like what the teams are. There are screenshots of all of this, any information in my Discord. Smitten did a really good job trying to take as many screenshots to help out as many people as possible. So hopefully that helps you out. If you have those types of questions, you can hop in there, or you can DM me and I'll try and help you out individually. All right, so the next question is troop exhaustion. I call it troop exhaustion. What's actually happening is the station troop difficulty is getting more difficult. The reason I call it troop exhaustion is due to the explanation. So if I click on this, it says, when a ruler attacks an NPC station troop, its difficulty will increase at most by 1,500%, along with marching distance becoming longer. When a station troop is within our side's alliance territory, the difficulty will not increase. So the farther away, right, so this is plus 3.3%, and it's relatively close to my base. However, this one is 15.6. That's 9 feet away. However, if I go to my base, right, and this is 119 feet away, and I click on a Hornet, right, it says station troops difficulty in Alliance territory has no bonus. So you don't get exhausted in your own territory, but any amount of distance you do. Which brings me to my next question, which is how valuable are teleports? How do you teleport around? Advanced teleports are super valuable. Do not waste them. Do not do anything. Because if we look, right, this is 15.6%. If I teleport right next to it, it is 2.1%. That being said, I can handle like 45 seconds to a minute march in order to hunt things, or to hunt resource nodes, and I can handle like a 3-minute march to hunt wild insects, because as you can see, it's like 270k for a level 15, but here it's it's 270,000 station troops, 3.7 mil power, right? So that obviously is a lot more difficult than an insect. So that strategy of gathering 20 nodes as soon as possible will take some advanced teleports to move around. Now, as you can see, I'm also not within my resident area, right? I'm not in the blue highlighted area. As long as I'm within this border for now, right, my initial starting area border, I don't have to be in a safe area. I can be anywhere I want, and I can just teleport there, and it's no problem. I can invade whatever I want. So initially, what you should do is you should teleport away from a bunch of people, and you should just take like this level 4 node that's out in the middle of bum anywhere and doesn't impact anyone, if that makes sense. That way you can get your 20 nodes and have no stress. The next question that I got asked is about server versus server. So server versus server is a little bit different on kill event week. So on Groundhog week, as you can see in the map, if we look around a little bit, there is groundhogs, right? And they're just linked to the rest of server that you're in. So server 7, that's how it works. But if for kill event week, you can't hit squirters, you can't hit opposing server, right? Because you can't teleport back. So they added a second choice day. So day 7 has always insect cultivation, and then you can choose anything else. I personally recommend double hatch soldier. I recommend not going for more than 9th on any one of the 3 days, and I recommend on Groundhog Day to get fodder saved and then do the minimal amount of insects, if any insects, on that day, so you can use them to push on Sunday on kill event day, and you can minimize the number of hatch soldier ants you have and the amount of diamonds you're using. Hopefully by the time you guys show up, we have a better theory. We can have more people look into it. But if we look at it, until development, you're limited, right? Maybe with enhancement it'll be feasible, but you're still limited, and Monday, the very next day, is another anthill development, so that sounds awful. Gathering resources sounds impossible, because stamina is so precious, right? Pre-gathering and stuff like that is like, at least for the first week, maybe in a couple of weeks it won't be as big of a deal, but for this first week, It's literally like throwing the middle finger up to your alliance because they're counting on you to be able to hit layers and residences and stuff like that. If you're down to creature remain evolutions, that's going to be rough. Strength and special lance don't overlap with any CAs. That could be very rough unless you're heavy pay to win, or depending on what Lost Island eggs look like and how many points those are. So Hatch Soldier Ants, I think, is the best option, at least for the first week. Maybe Gathering is feasible a different week, but I think for the first week, Stamina is too important to have it burn away because you're pre-gathering and then gathering throughout the day. All right, the next question is referring to R3 members. Why in my last video I said don't have very many R3 members. Won't that decrease the efficiency of building? No, it will not. Alliance towers can only be placed. So this is like poor translation. It says R3 and above members can build. That's not what it really means. It means R3 and above members can place it, but anyone can go to, right? So a mail will get sent out and anyone can get dispatched and click on it and click build, right? Any R1, R2, R3, it doesn't matter. There'll be a little build button here. So again, you want to limit the number of cooks in the kitchen in order to ensure that this gets built properly and you're not wasting a bunch of clay. Because again, you get back no clay after it's been dismantled. And on that note, only R3 and above can dismantle. So in order to prevent wasting clay by someone accidentally clicking it, because they think they know what they're doing best, you, again, limit the number of people that can click that button in the first place. A follow-up question that I was asked about this is how will demoting R3s to R2s, R1s impact the rewards? The answer is it won't, as far as any rewards we know so far. Season rewards are based off of R5, R4s with the title, R4, and then rewards for everyone else. So it won't. Yeah. The next question I get asked is for my pay-to-win players. So, what packs are there available to buy? As of right now, there are only 2 or 3, depending on how you look at it. The first pack is the weekly pack. This is the type of pack that I'll be looking to buy on my main, if I'm honest. It seems like overall good value. It gives a little bit of resin, some honeydew, some kiwi, and some eggs. These are Lost Island eggs. There seems to be 3 different types of hatching. So Lost Island egg there, which is like the most basic version of hatching, but we haven't seen it yet, so I'd like to see it tomorrow, and I'll reveal during the live how all that works. So that's the $10 pack that you can buy. And then inside of the pack shop, it has its own little tab, but there's only 1 pack to buy for $5, 2,500 resin. And then there's a $10 pack. I don't have a screenshot to know how much there is. I assume it's like 4,500, maybe 5,000 for $10, right? I assume it'd be slightly less than double because that's how this game works. For a temporary bonus, enhancing an anthill, right? It goes away at 45 days. Unless you're a super whale, this is just my opinion. Of course, you can change. You don't have to listen to me. You don't have to follow my advice. It's your money, your account. Play it how you want to, right? Don't come at me saying, why are you telling me how to spend my money? But in this tab, there is so much more you can do on like genetic days, and those help you on Lost Island and when you get back to the regular map. So $15 a day to enhance something that's temporary doesn't seem worth it to me, at least in my price range and how I play the game. But $10 a week seems fine to be able to buy out this store in order to be able to have 7 eggs towards hatching, etc., etc. And to give you an idea, it's been, again, 2 days and an hour since the event started, and I can already buy all 4 bioessence. I can buy all the resin, 15,000 resin, right, which is more than the $5 pack. but this is reset once a week. And then this gives you, again, 9,800 enhancement resin by itself. So that answers that question, hopefully, on the pay-to-win side. So how gathering works, I covered that already, but just a quick recover because I got asked this question 3 or 4 times. Gathering is infinite. You get a set amount that you can gather at one time. You recall them. You can send them back to the same node. Way easier than the other event. Mentioned it at the beginning of this video, so just going to do it real quick. And then the last question that I've been asked, or that I saw that I was asked, is what power level should play? Any power level. We don't know if seasoned troops take evos into effect, so maybe people with higher evos have slightly higher advantage. But seasoned troops give everyone a level playing field, right? So if I look at this screenshot that I was sent by Blue Ant on what the troop stats are for a level 10 enhanced, right? This is a level 10 enhanced troop because they heard I was missing it from one of my last videos. Thank you very much, Blue Ant, for sending this to me. Attack 136, defense 55, health 17 for a shooter enhanced. So again, 136, 55, 17. A new season gives 138, 58, 19. So that being said, it's a clear choice that the season special ants or season troop ants will at least put people on the same playing field for like tier troops. So if you follow my recommendation of using the snowball effect to gain more and more troops in order to get more honor, to get more resource nodes, to get more troops, you'll be able to keep up with players like that, and you'll have the dominating troop type. Even if it takes evolutions into effect, which I would expect it does, but even if it does, your troops are at the same level, so it's the same as competing with genetics. So you'll be fine, in my opinion. Having the same troop level will even out the battlefield a lot, and then insects, special ants, and some evolutions will be where it really comes from. So, in my personal opinion, based off of that screenshot from Blue Ant showing me that free-to-play players will have a better ant than T10 Enhanced, and based off of the store being so easily accessible, again, I don't spend money on this account. It's a farm account. I spend $1 a week on this account for Warzone. If Anti ends up spending money on this account, I'll update people on that. It's his account, his alt account, so if he decides that he wants to, I'll let people know. But for now, 17,000 Lost Island fruit, free to play, no stress, 2 days, 1 hour, no issues. So this event seems very free to play friendly in this aspect. How will it seem free to play friendly in hatching the new season special ants? I don't know yet. I'll find out tomorrow during the live stream. But even if it's not, right, you're not losing anything because it's not. You're still gaining 1 orange star a day or a week. You're still guaranteeing 4 bioessence. You're still earning an extra exotic shell a week. You're still having the potential to buy more creature remains. So I don't think, in my personal opinion, it is worth not playing. Any power level doesn't matter. If we go back to the mail, even with tier 4 troops, you can take a level 1 resource node. Tier 7 for a level 2, right? So even tier 4 troops for a level 1 resource node, if we look, you're starting to get tier 4 troops at level 10 queen. Like, anyone can compete in this game. Anyone. I don't see why anyone would sit out if they have the opportunity to play. I genuinely feel like you're shooting yourself in the foot. You're falling behind on exotic shells, you're falling behind on orange insects, you're falling behind on bioessence guarantee, you're falling behind on creature remains potential. Like, there's just so much to be gained. Not to mention, depending on how hatching goes, you may be falling behind on new special ants, new formations, new abilities to play the game. Alright, y'all, first and foremost, last video announced the 4,000 subscriber giveaway, so make sure to check out that video, leave the code word in the description. Remember, you must be subscribed. On the notes of subscriptions, my good golly gosh, 4 days, 200 subscribers. That is insane love and support, you guys. Thank you so much for it. Huge shout out to my Patreon. If you haven't heard, you'll hear soon. I'm getting a new mic. Because of my Patreon. I've saved up the last 3 or 4 months in order to buy a new mic. I spent a little bit of my personal money and the money that I've made from my Patreon in order to buy a new mic, hopefully improve the quality, hopefully, be able to blind out and change the gains in order to not hear like my dogs in the background or things like that. So thank you guys for improving, the Patreon gang for improving the quality of life of the stream overall. Huge shout out to you guys for supporting me, and huge shout out to my community. I don't come up with all these theories. I don't come up with all this information. I got people whispering in my ears from all different areas, asking questions, causing me to look back at the game, asking questions, causing other people to look back at the game, and coming up with the best solutions. If it wasn't for a thoughtful community, I wouldn't be who I am today. So thank you very much from the bottom of my heart, everyone that's here, everyone that's trying to learn this game with me to the best of their abilities. You guys, you can catch me in the YouTube comments. I'm there. I try to be there. I'm trying not to be square. You can catch me on Discord. I'm the #1 talker. Is some of the stuff I say complete malarkey? Yeah, I like to shoot the poop a little bit. But, hey, or worst case scenario, you can catch me on server 260 or server 7. Until next time, y'all, stay humble, stay happy, stay hungry. Bye, y'all.